Alright, ladies and gentlemen, WWE has finally completely buckled down and lost it. First off, Sasha Banks quitting. Apparently, Daniel Bryan's injured. And Vince fired one of his staff members or somebody in the back for saying his name. I don't even know what that means. But WWE is finally falling apart because, first of all, they're losing one of the best women that they have on the roster. Whether you will admit it or not, you'll probably disagree with me, but she is. And she has so much passion. And the reason why WWE is doing this is so that everybody gets a chance, not just at the spotlight, but just to hold belts. And it's ridiculous, but the company has constantly targeted Sasha Banks in particular, because when Charlotte had her long run as Raw Women's Champion, Sasha beat her, and then Sasha loses not too long, maybe I think 2 weeks later, and then Sasha didn't get another run until mid-year, probably I think after SummerSlam of 2016. Sasha wins again, and then only to lose to Charlotte at Hell in a Cell. And Sasha, first of all, this is where the company really messed up. They had more than enough time to put Sasha on SmackDown. They never did. They had her trade water on Raw, where WWE made it obvious that they weren't going to do anything for her on Raw. I could bring up when Asuka came in. Asuka coming in on Raw, of course Asuka's going to take over popularity. Charlotte was still on Monday Night Raw, and they just did not know how to use Sasha Banks. See, what I would have thought Charlotte and Dana Brooke was going to have a nice little storyline, but no, they gave Charlotte these really opponents that nobody wanted to see, like Bayley, for instance. Bayley went against Charlotte and actually won. And at the time, I wasn't mad that Bayley won the championship. It was the fact that WWE gave Bayley a pretty good run. And it wasn't that long, but it was way longer than Sasha ever had. Bayley had the belt for a good 2 months, almost 3 months, with the Raw Women's Championship. And now, WrestleMania. Now, I'm not mad that the Iconics won. I'm not mad. But if you're going to put Sasha and Bayley as the first ever tag team women's champions, automatically that's a 6 month to a year reign. Right off the bat. 6 months to a year, that's a reign. Because you're the first ever, you're supposed to have a powerful reign. For example, if somebody, let's say, okay, what's his face? Not Jared Briscoe, but Pat Patterson. There we go. Pat Patterson, first ever Intercontinental Champion. Guess what? He had a long reign. I could say the same for the first ever United States Champion. But for Sasha and Bayley to be the first women's tag team champions, see, WWE can claim that they care about this women's revolution, but they really don't, because they pretty much, I would say they shitted on the belts, but not technically, because they put it on a good tag team with the Iconics. Like I said, it's a perfect fit, but it's bad timing. I wouldn't be mad if they would have had the one at Elimination Chamber, but WWE, they always wait at the last minute. And honestly, they're not on top of their storylines, because what they do here, they flip the script literally in the middle of the show, before the show starts. Not even the middle, sometimes the quarter when the show's about to end, they change it. For example, SmackDown, build up to WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan was supposed to go one-on-one with Kevin Owens. Daniel Bryan refused to wrestle because he like I said, Daniel Bryan was still dealing with injuries, and now he's really injured right now. But anyway, he told Vince he refused to wrestle. Vince got mad, and of course you saw they replaced Eric Rowan against Kevin Owens. That's the things. That's the problem. Bad scripts. They're not keeping care of the superstar's health. They don't have any health insurance. Dean Ambrose is leaving. Like I said, Sasha Banks is about to quit. And let's not just think about those two. And let's not think about those two alone. Yeah, you're right. They're independent contractors. But let's not just think about those two alone. Let's think about the other people who quit. Ty Dillinger, Hideo Itami, T.J. Perkins. Emma left a while back. Like, WWE, they're not waking up. Now, of course, I say NXT. This is why NXT should not be it should not have just people who are debuting on WWE on NXT. They need people who actually need development, because WWE just gave up their two best NXT superstars, even though they should not have been on NXT in the first place. But the point is this: if you're giving up Ricochet and Aleister Black to NXT, NXT is officially trash. Okay, I don't care if Johnny Gargano's still there. I don't care if Adam Cole's still there. You need 5 top stars on your brand. You need 5 top stars. That's why it's such a bad idea to, just because they're coming off the independent scene. Oh, WWE wants to see what they're made out of. So you just want to, oh, okay, so I'm gonna just put them on NXT. That's a bad look. Put people who are actually terrible in WWE on NXT. Put people that the crowd doesn't really like Titus O'Neil, like Mojo Rawley, guys who still need work. And I think NXT will be better off that way. And WWE, alright, WrestleMania, I had a good time, but I want to specifically talk about the kickoff show. Once again, the cruiserweights have been on the kickoff show. WWE has not just proven that they don't care about the women's revolution, but they also just proved that they do not care about the cruiserweight division. Because not only last year, Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander was on the kickoff show, but yet they stole the show. Then Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy on the kickoff show. They didn't quite steal the show, but it was a great match. Now, WWE is wasting talent, and I don't know why. I say this all the time. I don't know why EC3 decided to sign with WWE, because you sign with them and not are you on the kickoff show, but you're in the Andre the Battle Memorial Battle Royal and you get eliminated in like 50 seconds. I find it like amazing that the talent that was in the Battle Royal. It's just crazy. You had the Hardy Boys. I know it's not such a big deal. I mean, they're the Hardy Boys, but come on, Hardy Boys in the Battle Royal. That's not something you would think off right of the head. And then you had Jinder Mahal in there. Let's get on Mustafa Ali being in the Andre the Memorial Battle Royal. First of all, I understand that originally it was supposed to be Daniel Bryan and Mustafa Ali at WrestleMania before they replaced Kofi Kingston, because, you know, Orton kind of messed up his eye on SmackDown. But WWE, the thing that WWE doesn't want to tell you is the fact that Mustafa Ali was already fully healthy way before WrestleMania was even finna start. Like, but no, they don't want to jump to other conclusions. They want to stay on the script. Now, trust me, I'm black. I love the fact that Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship. I think it's going to be great. But another thing that's a problem. Now, the New Day, they've been running strong. They've supported Kofi Kingston in the whole storylines and all that stuff. But according to Wrestling Hub, Big E is currently injured as well. See, there's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of frustration in the back. And there's a lot of people quitting right now. There's a lot of people quitting. And trust me, believe me when I say this. Before, WrestleMania 31 was the best WrestleMania in a long time. But seeing WrestleMania 35 is the greatest WrestleMania I've ever seen. Now, I'm not going to knock down stars off of WrestleMania just because the Raw after WrestleMania was so trash. Reason being, the first thing that comes to my mind, it's not that WWE idiotically wanted to do a winner take all between Seth and Kofi Kingston. It's not the fact that it idiotically turned to a tag team match. I'm not mad at none of that stuff. The thing that ruined Raw after Mania was the fact that The Undertaker can show up the Raw after Mania, and he doesn't show up at WrestleMania. Now, I would really get into the fact that I'm pissed that Baron Corbin, not only was he able to share a ring with a legend like Kurt Angle, but actually beat him. See, everybody thought that, even including myself, that Baron Corbin was going to be a jobber. Something was going to happen in the middle of the match or before the bell was going to ring. Something was going to happen. No, WWE shocked us when the bell was actually ringing, and for the first 3 minutes they were actually having a match. And most people who have their final match, it's kind of 50-50 if they win or they lose. But I'll say this: Kurt Angle is one of those 50-50 legends that should have won his last match. The only reason why I'm saying this is because he went against Baron Corbin. So if you're going against Baron Corbin, you should lose. Now, another thing that WWE has failed to tell you also, Jason Jordan has been healthy for 4 months, people. 4 months. SummerSlam, right after the main event, when Roman Reigns became Universal Champion, before he had to give up his belt to leukemia, you can see Jason Jordan backstage healthy. And he actually had his ring gear on. Apparently, he had a full beard, but something must have happened, and he's not being booked. He's not being used. Now, the reason why I bring up Jason Jordan is because Jason Jordan has a lot to do with Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin. That's my biggest problem. Now, I was telling Rod it should be John Cena. That's what me and Rod was leaning to mostly. We were leaning to John Cena versus Kurt Angle. That's perfect. John Cena debuted against Kurt Angle. John Cena should end Kurt Angle. And then we're like, oh, what if it's The Undertaker? That would be epic because they're both at their last peak of their careers, and they've never wrestled each other at WrestleMania, ever. They've never wrestled at WrestleMania. But no, Baron Corbin. Now, the reason why I'm missing Jason Jordan, because wasn't there a script that apparently Jason Jordan's dad is Kurt Angle? So why not extend that legacy to Jason Jordan and have Kurt Angle and have Jason Jordan in Kurt Angle's career? And WWE failed all 3 options, and they have Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is still going to be in that little executive wrestling role, which is really stupid, and it's really hard to take him serious. It's not just the fact that he cut his hair, just like his ring attire, and you know, he still has the same music, and just makes it even more boring, and he's just not entertaining. He's too stiff in the ring. He doesn't really care about what he's doing. And it really just smooshes the pooch on this whole career of Kurt Angle, and I just can't look at Kurt Angle's career the same because WWE finds a way to fuck somebody's career over. And
lost to Baron Corbin his last match.
You know, Batista and Triple H. No, nobody asked for it. No, nobody wanted to see it. But
it was a great match.
It was I would say it was a better match than I would have thought it was going to be. But the ending was trash. And Triple H always needs somebody to help him win the match. And I like that character. I like the King of Kings. I like the Cerebral Assassin. I like the game. But how can people call you all those 3 nicknames and you need help from China, the woman who made your career, Billy, the New Age Outlaws, of course, Shawn Michaels. How can you forget about him? Diesel, Scott Hall, all the and now Ric Flair. So many people have helped you get those 14 championships, and that's why you can never beat Batista, because not just Batista, but anybody Triple H has gone against, he can't beat them one-on-one. Now, I don't entirely blame Triple H, because you have to feel the reason why. People have to understand, Triple H didn't come into the company, or he wasn't born with such a big ego. See, the Attitude Era was already filled with egos, and not even just the Attitude Era. On WWE Network, I watched back to 1993 and so on. 1996, that's when Hunter Hearst Helmsley first debuted, and there were a lot of egos that were over Hunter Hearst Helmsley. The fact that before he was actually getting big, and he was being managed by Sable and all that, he got squashed by the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania. That was the first ego that kind of triggered Triple H. And then Shawn Michaels was at the time the greatest World Wrestling Federation champion of all time. Like, people were considering him better than Hulk Hogan and all them. And then Psycho Sid was one of those big egos as well. And then Diesel was one of the biggest egos at that time, because of the fact that he undeservingly went against the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Something that Hunter Hearst Helmsley probably could have had at the time. And no, he didn't need a win, but it was certainly better than getting squashed by the Ultimate Warrior. And now you see why Triple H is the way he is, because you literally have to become an ego to be great with the WWE. And you can't really blame Triple H, because now it's easier for you to be a great wrestler but not having a great character in WWE, because you don't have an ego. And it's easier for you to leave the company, because there's, of course, a great independent scene waiting to use you. For example, John Morrison. John Morrison didn't really want to become a big ego over The Miz, because The Miz had a big ego when he was WWE champion, and then Randy Orton, and then John Cena, Batista, Chris Jericho, all those guys. So John Morrison departed from the company and went on to Impact. Now, the reason why Triple H, especially way back in those days, like I said, New Japan Pro Wrestling and WWE, they've been around the same time. But New Japan Pro Wrestling was trash. It was trash. So if Hunter Hearst Helmsley, if Triple H were to leave because he didn't want to be a part of that ego, he would have been a smaller name than he already was. So you have to understand, no, I don't like Triple H as a person, but people made him the way he is, and he's one of the, in my opinion, he's actually a top 10 wrestler of all time to me. You guys have to really look at it close up and not really just look at what WWE has done wrong. You have to really look at him as an individual and what he actually set the tone for WWE. Because, believe it or not, at the time, not now of course, but at the time, Triple H did care about the fans back in '02 and all that stuff. He signed all the kids' autographs. He made all the show's appearances. He mentioned, I remember, if you guys go on WWE Network, you watch WWE Storytime, he talks about how him and Mick Foley main evented all their live events untelevised, no Raw, no SmackDown. He talked about how him and Mick Foley, they signed the fans' autographs. They were nice to him in 1,000-degree weather arena because the air conditioner broke and the lights went out, and they still wrestled for 30 minutes. So Triple H, trust me, without a shadow of a doubt, Triple H has passion for what he does. But I don't like that his character is so over, but the fact that he can't win a match by himself, and he feels the need that he needs help because of those egos. And Batista, I'm kind of not liking Batista right now because, he kind of showed unprofessionalism after WrestleMania. Nothing backstage, nothing personal. He didn't really say anything personal. But I woke up in the morning, went on my phone, went on YouTube, and Batista has said, "I am officially retiring from sports entertainment." So I'm like, dude, you can tweet about that, you can message that to people, but you can't do what so many other legends have done. Come out there, say to the fans, thank you, and it was one hell of a ride, you know, etc., and then you walk into the sunset. No, you're the Batista. Believe it or not, if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure I'm not, but he is literally the only former world heavyweight champion and former WWE champion who has retired and has never said a speech to the fans. He's the only one. Shawn Michaels did it. Kurt Angle did it. Edge did it. Chris Jericho hasn't retired yet. John Cena hasn't retired yet. But the point of the matter is, if they do retire, that's what they're going to do. Daniel Bryan did it. When Daniel Bryan, when they say his career is over, he did it. And Daniel Bryan was a former world champion, a WWE champion. And Batista is literally, and the reason I'm so disappointed is because I rather would expect that from Brock Lesnar than you. Brock Lesnar isn't the guy to come on the mic and say thanks to the fans. He didn't care about the fans. Thanks to all the guys in the back, he argued and cussed and fought everybody in the back of that locker room. So for Batista to have good relationships with everybody in the back, for Batista to have a good relationship with the fans, how can you just send out a message and just say goodbye like that? I'm not sad. I mean, before you and Triple H had this little idea that you guys want to have a match at WrestleMania 35, nobody really cared. I personally want to see you come back because WWE just writing off your popularity because you're doing so good with Marvel and Hollywood. But for you to not come out and say a speech, there's so, and the reason why it's so disrespectful to me because there's former WWE champions who have died and they can't say a speech. They can't thank the fans. We're talking about passionate wrestlers. We're talking about Chris Benoit, Brian Pillman. Honestly, most of these guys don't even have to win a championship. But the fact of the matter is, they didn't get to say goodbye. And for you to have that opportunity, and leave the Raw after WrestleMania, you were still in New York, dude. You didn't fly anywhere else. You just didn't go to Raw. That's all it was. And it's pretty much disappointing. And the reason why I compare Batista to Brock Lesnar is because, like I said, Brock's not that type of person. And I'm pretty sure if Brock Lesnar got inducted to the Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure Paul Heyman would talk for him. He's probably just going to stand there in a suit looking like a jackass. And then he'll take his undeserving Hall of Fame ring and bring shame to every person who's ever won that championship belt. And even though most people who won a championship belt I don't like, Ric Flair being one of them. I mean, it's not that Ric Flair was undeserving to win the world championship, but he just won it too many goddamn times. And the way he won it was pretty stupid because it was like, it's the same thing with his daughter and Sasha Banks at the time. You and Arn Anderson really went back and forth. And keep in mind, Arn Anderson only became a WWF champion, what, one time, twice maybe? And Ric Flair literally just beat him, and they had 5 series of matches back in WWE. And Ric Flair had help from the other the remainder of the 4 horsemen that screwed Arn Anderson. And I do know that the last match was pretty personal because Arn Anderson stormed out and Sasha Banks stormed out of Hell in a Cell. But guess what? The difference between Sasha Banks and Arn Anderson, when they're handling those situations, Sasha Banks showed up and she competed back on Monday Night Raw. And that's why she's quitting. That's exactly why she's quitting. She's so passionate for what she does. There's no credit. Okay, yeah, you give her a WWE collection. But who really cares? You really gave anybody a collection. Hell, you gave Mean Gene a collection. He's an announcer. Like, that doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. For some reason, Bayley has a collection on WWE Network, and she, in my opinion, she still has no big impact on on anything that has to do with WWE. Nothing much. Like pretty much, I was talking about how Batista didn't talk to people. He didn't talk to the fans before he retired, and how Baron Corbin undeservingly killed Kurt Angle's legacy. I talked about how I was pissed about how The Undertaker came on the Raw after WrestleMania. He didn't show up at WrestleMania. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's just the top of everything. But it not you haven't missed that much. Not that much. I was talking about a lot of stuff though, but you didn't miss a lot, bro. You didn't miss a lot. Let's get to Sami Zayn and Finn Balor. It was like a random exhibition match. I was watching the highlights and I was just like, first of all, not only did Sami Zayn come back to face Finn Balor, the match was been good. Honestly, I feel like the Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor one was a lot better. And Rey Mysterio is officially hurt. I mean, yeah, he had an ankle sprain, but at WrestleMania when he went down, that was just and I respect guys like Samoa Joe, cause Samoa Joe has so much experience in the independent scene. And Samoa Joe, he's been through so many brutal matches and he's been through so much pain. He can see if somebody's hurt. That's why he ended the match so fast. And I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Sammy's still heelish. But I'm not gonna lie to you. It takes a lot out of somebody to have their first WrestleMania and for somebody to get hurt and to end the match that quick. Because it's your first WrestleMania, you want to have a decent 15 to 20 minute match with a guy like Rey Mysterio in your first WrestleMania as United States Champion. I did hear rumors that Rey was probably supposed to win. I don't know. But Rey really did go hard on that ankle. Me and Rob, we saw it instantly. We were like, ooh, and we saw it in Samoa Joe. And I could tell he didn't put it on tight. He probably put him down like a little careful. I mean, it was fast, but it was careful. You look back at it. And I really do respect that, and I really do applaud Samoa Joe, because if it was somebody else's first WrestleMania, like for example, like I said, if that was Triple H's first WrestleMania, he would probably still try to have a match with Rey Mysterio and further injure Rey Mysterio. That's something that I've never seen ever. Not somebody's first WrestleMania, at least. That takes a lot. That's crazy. That was crazy. Joe WrestleMania victory makes a case for the dominance. And yeah. But yeah, I really was thinking about putting WrestleMania 35 as being trash, because Raw after Mania was really trash and dry. Probably one of the worst Raw after WrestleManias in history. I'm not joking. Let's say back in what, 04, 03, when it was Raw after WrestleMania, I could be wrong. I think it was 02 maybe. I'm trying to think about it, but in that Ruthless Aggression era, we saw Goldberg Raw after WrestleMania. We saw Enzo and Cass after Raw WrestleMania. We saw Apollo Crews. Like, we saw so many things. Like, especially last year's Raw after Mania was better than this year's, and this year's was just so trash. So trash. I mean, it's just WWE's on a breaking point, but they're not gonna know it yet until AEW pretty much. Hey, I'm telling you how it is, bro. That was the worst Raw after WrestleMania. That was the worst one. I was like, cause WrestleMania, I was like, hey, I'm finally having fun with WWE again. I saw everything I wanted to see. It was like me playing a video game and picking who I wanted to win. They won. But the Raw after WrestleMania, that's supposed to build off momentum, and it just sucked. I mean, think about this, Jimmy. If you wanted to see The Undertaker at WrestleMania, when did you expect them to see him at WrestleMania? Why come the Raw after Mania, you didn't even have your sling on, and you basically, what, you, I guess they're just not taking Elias serious. I think he's like one of the next big jobber, except his character's bigger, and honestly, he's gonna quit too. I see all over his face. He's gonna quit. The body tone, he's probably sick of it. Cause let's not forget this. Remember this. Elias, yeah, he has TV appearances. A lot of TV appearances. But remember this. He doesn't even get a match right after half of the time. Usually somebody interrupts him, they get in a promo and then goes to commercial break, and it's probably a dark match. But other than that, he doesn't really get that many matches. If you want, you can Google it on how many matches Elias had this year. Cause literally Jinder Mahal had more matches than Elias. And Jinder Mahal wasn't even that many pay-per-views this year. Not even that many pay-per-views. Let's say he was at Backlash, and what, they skipped him over with the next 3 pay-per-views. Like, they're making Elias just for appearances, but that was by far the worst. And I'm not just saying this was the worst Raw after Mania because of things that happened, but the crowd wasn't as lit as they usually are, and because the crowd knows that it's not that entertaining. They have to start these chants in the middle of matches because the matches aren't entertaining. The booking is just off, and the show never started with a match in so long. It's been ridiculous. We're gonna have a superstar shakeup, and I would have thought they were gonna end the brand split, but apparently they're not. I don't know what WWE's about to do. Whatever they're doing, it's just gonna be trash. Like, yeah, okay, I'll applaud you. You had a good WrestleMania, but I mean, if they don't get this shakeup right, I don't know what to tell them, because you already messed up on so many things. Like, the first thing that I'm pretty sure they're gonna do it, but if they mess this up, they're just terrible. It's about time AJ Styles left SmackDown. It's about time. It's about time. AJ, they need to send AJ and Kevin Owens to Raw. Send Zayn back to SmackDown. Get Roman Reigns to SmackDown. Because first off, AJ Styles or Kevin Owens going against Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship, that would be great for Seth to start off his reign. Hands down. That would be great. So, and then the WWE Championship. Now, in my head right now, I'm thinking that it could be a bad idea, but not really, because Roman Reigns, even though he still really doesn't deserve all the things that he accomplished in his career, but the fact that he has that many accomplishments, WWE needs to use that. All those accomplishments, and Roman Reigns could probably put over Kofi Kingston. And I think they're going to break up New Day because of Big E's injury. But I think they're going to probably keep Big E on SmackDown, but Big E's just kind of going to be, kind of disappearing, because he's probably going to still like work off his injury. They're probably going to send Xavier to Raw. Hopefully. It's not a guarantee. They're most likely going to keep the New Day. I mean, they got new T-shirts out and all that stuff. But I mean, like with Big E's injury, I'm not wishing injuries on people, but if he's injured, it's a perfect time to disband the New Day, and Kofi can have a singles run with the belt, because like I said, I'm happy that Kofi's champion, but if he's still in the New Day, it's just not as entertaining, and it's not going to make me want to watch SmackDown live. It's not. If I can't see him back in trunks and hearing SOS and stuff like that, I don't want to watch it because Kofi being the first black WWE champion, that means a lot to a lot of black wrestlers and black young fans and just black fans in general, and that should be a singles run. Because if he's still at the New Day, I'm just thinking he's just a person in the tag team division who just happens to be a WWE champion. And I don't know what it took out of Vince to finally bring a black WWE champion to the WWE, and I'm pretty sure Coach's gonna have a pretty good reign. It doesn't look like he's gonna lose the belt anytime soon. But yeah, the Superstar Shakeup, I need to see 4 things. I need to see Zayn and Roman on SmackDown. I need to see AJ and Kevin Owens on Raw. Because if Kevin Owens stays on SmackDown, they're not going to do anything with him. They're going to waste him again. Because he's not going to get another opportunity, right? There's not really any entertaining people that he can really feud with on SmackDown. Because Nakamura is a heel and he's on the tag team division. Same thing with Rusev. And moving Kevin Owens back to Raw is just so much better. It's just simple as that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow I'm probably gonna do another podcast after I stream tomorrow. But it's going to be a new channel that I'm going to be doing on my podcast. This is just a WWE review, but on my podcast, the YouTube channel, I will let you guys know when I stream Raw, what the name of the YouTube channel is and all that stuff. But other than that, I'll see you guys later. Have a nice day.